Welcome back to Atomic Heart. This is part 14 of our trophy walkthrough. We have just returned Claire's leg to her body over on the bottom floor. And now we are headed up to the third floor. We're going to follow the objective marker up here and try to get the next piece of Claire so that we can completely repair her.
New scanning cycle. Module, limb, arm, left, found.
When we come around this corner, there will be four mothers who are spitting out sprouts. We need to take care of these guys. Just try not to let the dead bodies get infected by the sprouts. It's not too difficult. And there is a save room immediately to the left once you come into this little short hallway. I always end up picking up random items with the telekinesis on accident.
So, what will it be, Major?
Here it looks like I'm just checking things out, seeing how close we are to getting that character section completely upgraded. We're going to save because this next area is going to be pretty difficult. Just a heads up. We're going to go out the door and then go to the right. Don't go to the left. That takes us back where we came in. As if you didn't need to know any more that what's coming up is about to be hard, they give you another Nora station in the middle of the hallway just in case you decided not to visit the save station.
Wow.
Up here we're gonna have to take care of this lock.
Didn't see that coming.
I'm gonna speed this one up because it took me a while to get this done. I hate these stupid light locks. When we come in the door, on the table directly in front of you, we're going to find Chirper number 41. And then right next to it on the ground will be Necromancer number 26. Please don't forget to interact with him or to pick up the Chirper.
Sorry. What?
Here I'm attempting to put the fire cartridge inside of the shotgun, although I'm actually not going to be using the shotgun here. We have another save station on this top floor. You can see the bottom looks very much like an arena. And there's an enemy, it looks like in that cylinder. Down here we have yet another Nora station and a chest that we can open up. We're going to put that fire cartridge, we're going to move it over to the axe because here we are getting ready to encounter our second Plyusch. And even though I fussed at myself so much the last time, we actually need to use a melee weapon on him.
That is a specimen called Plyusch.
When you get up close to the tank where the Plyusch is, Chirper number 42 is on the ground. You can pick it up before the fight or after the fight, whichever one you prefer. We are going to use the same tactic that we used the first time when we fought the Plyusch. Use the polymeric jet to cover him with the polymer and then use the axe with the fire cartridge to hack away his life. It's not too difficult, but it is quite annoying. Also, if for some reason you did not scan the Plyusch the first time that we fought him over in the testing ground, then this is the perfect opportunity to get that scan in now. I just had a random thought. While I was sitting here watching the replay of this boss fight, I was thinking about the Chirper that we just heard. If you weren't paying attention, it's about a man who finds a puppy and he says that he couldn't keep it and they love animals over at the Pavlov complex, so he brought it over there. And he also found a doll and thought he would donate it to a museum because it didn't feel right. It makes me wonder, I was listening to the sounds that the Plyusch makes when it's running around, and it very much sounds like the panting of a dog. I'm wondering if this is that dog. If you know anything at all about psychology, you should be familiar with the name Pavlov and his infamous experiments with dogs, and how he conditioned them to salivate when they heard a noise by only feeding them, like he would ring a bell and he'd feed them, and eventually it got to the point where the minute that the dogs heard the bell, they would begin to salivate without any food being present because they knew that food was coming. Then you see the legs, like when you spray the polymer onto the Plyusch, you can see really well the ankle and knee joints in the legs. I have a very sick feeling that this is, I'm not sure what it is now, but that it once began life as a dog, which is very creepy and makes a lot of sense, unfortunately. Do be careful when you're fighting and you spray the polymer, and you know, obviously you're going to get polymer everywhere. Be careful because if it gets ignited, it can injure you if you step into it. So you can see when the Plyusch catches fire, when he's covered in polymer, if he runs over and touches polymer that's on the ground, it will ignite it. And if you then walk into that polymer, it will damage your health. So just be aware of that. We're starting to wind down now and get to the end of this fight. With that, the Plyusch is defeated, and we will wait for this dialogue to finish.
Doesn't come crawling out of the next canister.
According to my data, the second canister is sealed properly.
Once they're done talking, we can grab the arm from the defeated Plyusch. And we're done with this level at this point. We're going to head over into another room and collect a few extra items.
Have you infiltrated the VDNH yet, Major? The government commission is almost here.
I'm inside, looking for a way to activate military drill mode. Things have been complicated by a shitload of weird shit. Any more questions?
Well, look faster. Don't let Dr. Sechenov down again.
Speaking of weird shit.
Here, I'm just going to replace some of the Neuromed capsules that I used up during that fight. I'm sure I have plenty in my storage, but I don't know, I just decided to craft some. And then be sure to save so that you don't have to do that fight again. And we'll exit out of here. And when we get over to this room, we're going to try and lure out these vulvas. There are several that are in this room. And the more that we can get singled out, the better. Because once they all swarm, it does get a little bit hectic. I'm sure you see what I mean about the swarming. Especially when you throw the black suited vulvas in there, and it makes it so much tougher. And then the white suited ones that have those shields, those are super annoying as well. So just try to keep them in check and get as many of them lured out one at a time as you possibly can. We're going to head into this room now. There's just a few things to gather. Over in the corner to the left, there's a chest that we can open. And directly across from that, inside of the next, I don't know what this is, this little caged area sort of, right here, you'll find Necromancer number 27.
Snap, crunch, crack, collarbone, pain.
Were you on the tour?
Crunch, break, bend, snap, spine.
Gotcha. I'll tell the tour guide I found one of her people. Looks like a med student.
Here we can unlock this door. I'm pretty sure this door just leads back to that main hallway where there's a Nora machine just in the middle of the hallway.
Charles, so after the whole beta
The
connector
other
idea
door
was dead, they made
is
the neuroconnectors
the
like
exit.
discretionary
It
authority?
also has
I'm
a lock
afraid
on
so.
it.
The power struggle in the Kremlin will never end. The party elite insisted on having power even within Collective.
Well, they're our government, right? We're the USSR.
Indeed we are. But Collective was designed to be for everyone on Earth, and the USSR is not the only country.
We can't let capitalists and imperialists into Collective.
Why not? Collective was designed as a worldwide union for
Oh, this
equal
door is the way
human
out. The
beings,
other one brings you
where
back to the Nora
robots will
machine.
do
Okay.
everything for them.
There is
Everyone will have the
yet
same
another save
opportunities.
The
room
capitalist room.
here. We're seeing those all the time. And then we're going to go ahead and exit this area and we'll be back in the main room. Though we came out on the second floor. Or no, we were on the third floor. I don't know why I thought it was the second floor. Anyway, we're going to head back to Claire's body. And we're going to give her her arm.
Here's your left arm. Go ahead, fix yourself up.
with that objective completed, we are heading straight to the top floor now. And we're going to go ahead and get that done. This is probably the second longest area. The longest being the bottom floor. But it's not too difficult. And it's actually going to bring us somewhere that we have already been. So if by some chance you haven't gathered the few items that are in that area yet, you can do so once you get to the end of this area here at the top floor.
Scanning the exhibition area. Module head found. Establishing coordinates. Assessing structural integrity. Head location.
Here we have yet another mother room.
Structural integrity compromised. Excessive pressure detected.
Excessive pressure.
Poor thing. It's crushing.
Here you want
her.
to
It's
do
like
again,
it's
stand
also
in the doorway
falling
and
on
pick
top
off
of her.
as many mothers
Oh,
as you
Major,
possibly
it's just
can
too
before we
cruel.
enter the room.
It's
There are
unbearable.
several
Yeah, okay.
dead
I get
workers
it.
in there that the sprouts can infect. Scanning is very, very useful for finding all of the hidden mothers that are around this area. So don't be afraid to scan and try to get as many out of the way as possible before we enter.
Shit, it's dark here. I got a bad feeling about this.
Once you open a door, or once you enter the doorway, make a beeline for the nearest mothers so that we can get rid of them quickly. Over there you can see there's some sprouts floating around, so there must be a mother here, which looks like it was behind that panel, so we wouldn't have been able to get them from the doorway anyway. Not too bad. With a room full of mothers, we only had to deal with one mutant. So now we're gonna just loot everything possible in this room before we move on. Now we're going to go ahead and follow that marker. Oh, well, there's a chest here. Don't forget to grab it. Then we're going to follow the marker into the next area. When we come through this area, there's a save room on the left.
So, what will it be, Major?
And we're going to check out our glove. We have quite a lot of neuropolymer. So that's going to be very useful. Probably one more upgrade to the glove and we will get the trophy for upgrading an entire section. We can't get into that room from here. We have to unlock the door, obviously. And we'll be passing through a vent system to get there. In here, there are a couple of items to loot before we go into the vent. When we go over to the vent, to the right, underneath the shelf, there's a small box that you can open.
Underground or something?
Don't forget to come around this corner and loot that box as well before continuing through the vent.
Fuck me. Where am I supposed to find the head?
You need to enter Icarus Hall. It is located on the
We're gonna have quite a fight
second story of
in this
venue.
room.
So where's the entrance?
Unfortunately,
These
I do
docks,
have this
man,
information.
they are really tough. The freeze does seem to work well, but the electro does not. They must have a resistance to it.
I don't know. It's just a suggestion.
There are 2 dandelions in this room. We want to make sure to take them out because we definitely do not need, in addition to these docks, wasps coming down to make our day worse. There is a Raffic in this room, but we don't have to engage with him, and it's best not to. So even later on, we'll be coming back in this room in a little bit, and we don't have to engage with him then either. So best to just leave him in peace, because we don't have to fight him unless there's maybe something that he drops that you particularly need. So now we're going to unlock this door using my favorite type of lock picking. And we're going to turn around and go back because we need to speak to Necromancer number 28. He's over here in the corner, and we don't want to forget about him before we move on. With that done, we're now going to enter the door that we just unlocked.
So what was wrong with
And
the
here
real
we're
beta
just going
connectors?
to do
Since
some light
Collective was
looting.
originally planned without any discretionary authority, everyone in it was supposed to be equal.
Yeah, we already talked about that. Then why'd they need the beta connectors?
To secure Collective against unforeseen threats from individuals who might wish to control it.
So how could beta connectors stop this from happening?
They didn't give their carriers any discretionary authority, but they did allow them to be present within Collective without being a part of it. In other words, they had total autonomy.
As
while
we come
retaining
across
access
here,
to
we
the
get
information
another
So what?
of the good
That's
locks.
basically what we have right now.
You
You're
tell me,
seeing
what's
this
your
from a
favorite
human
kind of lock in
perspective.
this game?
What other kind of perspective could I-
Obviously, I've made it very
Aw,
clear
crap.
that the
boss wanted to
lock
put
picking
beta
with the
rings on some
wires is my
robots so no
favorite,
one
and
else
the
in
lock with the
Collective could
lights
control
is my
them.
least
Indeed,
favorite.
they are. At first,
And then we're going to
Dr.
loot this
Sechenov
chest,
planned
which
to
is really
order his
strange.
loyal
All that's in
twins to
here is
guard the
chest.
Alpha
One
Connector.
single chest,
While logged
but
into
yet this
Collective,
door is
he
locked.
could control them from
And there's
anywhere
not
on
even
Earth.
anything
At the same
super
time, no one
crazy
else would be
in
able
that
to give them
chest.
orders. They wouldn't
Now we're going to
even
enter
know
the
that they
elevator for the
existed.
shortest
Hold on, Charles.
elevator ride in the entire
I
game.
don't quite get it.
There are no cuts
Would it
made
be
here
possible
at
to
all.
launch Collective with everybody equal, then destroy the Alpha Connector?
Certainly, but that begs another question. Who would choose to do that?
So once we exit through here, there are some very large green boxes in the water. One of them is going to open up and release a couple of owls. We'll have to take these guys out because they are super annoying and their rockets really hurt when they hit you. So take your time, but not too much time, and keep moving so that they have a harder time hitting you. With those taken care of, we're going to jump into the water. There's a chest underneath the water that we need to loot before we cross over to the other side. Up there is where we're headed. And also, the owls that we just took care of, they all fell into the water. So we can loot their remains as well. And then we're just going to swim to the opposite side from where we entered and exit out onto the ledge. Here, just find any place that you can exit on this side, and we're going to run around to where you can see that polymer that escaped from the yellow cylinder. We're going to swim up that polymer to reach the upper floor.
The ground staff wanted me to tell you.
From here, we have to do just a little bit of platforming, and it's super easy because everything is painted yellow, so you really can't go anywhere that could be considered wrong. So just follow the yellow brick road over to this blue building where we can land on a small platform and take care of this guy before we enter that building. Inside, we're going to have to deal with a few Vovas. There's always one here, sometimes two, right when you walk in. And then if you go down that hall, there'll be more of them. In this room, we can do some light looting. We do have to push that button because up there where the marker is, the button will open that door so that we can get inside of that room. And as we come over here, before we exit, we want to take care of these couple of Vovas just to grab some items in a chest.
Lights out!
And now that the area is completely cleared, we're going to go back to this main room and we're going to exit out of this door here and follow the walkway. We're going to do a little bit more platforming, not too much, just a little light platforming. Before we go into that little room, there is a box that can be looted hiding behind this pipe here. It can be a little awkward to loot it, but it can be done. And once we have gotten those items, we're going to go inside,
Where the power comes from.
and we are going to speak to Necromancer number 29. This should be the final Necromancer that we need to speak to before we go back to the one on the top floor. This is going to complete her little side quest that she gave us. Once we do the wire puzzle, if you come and open this door, you'll see that we've been to this area previously. We found a Chirper out here earlier, and we had quite a few Vovas to fight. So if you have not done that yet, this is your opportunity to go ahead and get the Chirper on that side. Here we're going to come around to the opposite side of this walkway at the top, and we're going to drop down onto the roof of that blue building. Go to the left side and jump across onto this small ledge where we can loot this box. And from here, we can jump straight down directly into the polymer so that we don't take any fall damage. And from here, we're just going to go straight back to the elevator. Lucky for us, the elevator ride down is just as short as the elevator ride up was. I sure wish all the elevators in the game were like this. Anyway, as we emerge in the main area, there's going to be several enemies waiting for us, so get ready to be swarmed. And it also gives you another opportunity once you clear this area out. You can get that Necromancer if you missed it the first time. For now, we just have to take care of all of these Volvas and Docks and Wasps, and we're going to try not to hit the Raffic, because as long as we don't engage him, he will leave us alone, and we don't have to get rid of him in order to exit this area. Do keep in mind that the guns with an electric cartridge, wow, that was really cool. That Doc just, he like matrixed on the wall and I froze him there. That was really neat. Anyway, our cartridge is gone now. I guess we used it all up on the shotgun, but having that electric cartridge does help to stun the robotic enemies. Here I'm going to give this adrenaline capsule a try. Surprisingly, I've never tried one until this point, and it slowly builds up your health, and if you're using the energy from your glove, it will also rebuild that slowly as well. I really should have used that before now. Now that this area is cleared, you can loot any bodies on the ground. Don't aggro the Raffic, just let him do his thing over there. And we're going to head over to that small purple platform and push the button so that we can move on to the next area.
The Beluga is the world's fastest multi-purpose submersible vehicle. It can reach speeds of
Let's
up to
see if this
17
thing helps.
kilometers per hour and is able to carry out civilian and military missions at depths down to 3,000 meters.
We've learned more about the ocean floor over the last few years than we had during the previous century.
If you ask me, we're better off exploring the depths of the
Once
ocean
the
than outer
whale
space.
has stopped
Fascinating.
moving, you can climb on top of it
Let's
and
not
jump
get into this
over
right
onto
now,
this upper level of the room. Don't go to the marker yet. From where you exit the whale, go to the left, and we want to speak to this guy. This is Necromancer number 30, and he has some very interesting dialogue. Although I did cut it out just to save time, because, man, uploads take a while, and every couple of seconds that I can shave off sure helps. So now we're heading for the marker. We're going to continue down this hallway, and before we enter the next area, we're going to make a pit stop at the save room.
So, what will it be, Major?
We're just going to take
Weapons?
a gander at our glove upgrades. I know we don't have quite enough yet, but we're almost there. And that's going to be the end of our video for today. Thank you all so much for watching. Please remember to like and subscribe if you have found any kind of help whatsoever from this. Thank you for joining me, and until next time, Khajiit always has wares.